Hey guys, good afternoon, and it's back to some more side project here, and we made a major decision this morning, and that was after a lot of niggly issues last night with Unreal Engine 5, we decided to downgrade it, or in this case upgrade it to 4.27. Okay, so we are in the middle of doing that. So I would say watch out for comments or whatever. I might not answer straight away. I'll try to answer as soon as I can, but I'll be jumping between two windows here, and one of them I'm going to be referencing another project, which was basically the version of the project in version 5, right? So bear with me on that one. As I said, we'll get to a point where we can basically forget about that and carry on with what we're doing anyway. But in the meantime, what we're doing is we are recreating our straight part of the dungeon. Now, if there's anybody in the chat, let me know if the stream is actually okay or not, because I'm getting an error. YouTube is not receiving enough video, and that's maybe because I'm running two different versions, right, of Unreal while trying to do a stream, which might not be all that great. Now, what we're going to do in the meantime is, in here, we're going to add the same variables that we had before. Okay, so this is going to be static mesh, and it's going to be an array, and that's going to be a save, and then we're going to check it. As I said, I'm doing this here on version 5, so this is what we're copying. Okay, so not too many on this one, and this is actually pretty much the only one that we really need to do any sort of coding on. So all we need to do here is add 2, and this is basically wall and I believe it's wallpaper straight. Okay, and the second one is wall straight. Wall that one. Okay, and that's that basically done. And for our next one, we add temp mesh, and that is going to be a singular, and it has no default value. Then the next one is add another variable, and that's going to be light chosen, and that's going to be a bool. Compile that, and then finally we're going to have one final one, which is called int light index. Okay, and that is going to be an integer, and we'll compile that. Now let me just explain this for a second, okay? You'll notice that we've got lights covering pictures, pictures covering the lights, various other stuff, right? Now the point of that is so that we can randomize how this looks. Okay, so we can pick which components we want to remove depending on which components we already removed. Hence the light chosen and the index light index, right? So if we pick this light, then we know that we've got to remove this picture. If we pick this light, we know that we've got to remove that picture. Okay? So it's going to give our walls and our corridors a random feel, so they're not always going to look the same. There's going to be lights on this side, lights on this side, a picture on this side, a light on that side, a picture on this side, no lights at all. It gives it some sort of random generation, right? Procedural generation, right? So what I'm going to do now, and I'll let you see, is we have code here, okay? And what we're basically going to do is copy it and paste it directly into our 4.72 project, 4.27 project, right? So all we need to do is, I'm copying it on the other side. I'm going to copy it. Now this sometimes causes issues, so what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to save all, okay? And then we're going to paste. Right, now, the issue with this type of thing is it'll copy stuff, but it may not get the proper references, okay? So what we need to do at this point is basically hook up everything again. And then check what we need. Okay, now I know for a fact that these two variables are in another actor, and that is because I need to reparent this to basically base layout part, right? You'll notice this one has already popped up, okay? And this is going to be BP underscore, well actually the funny thing is we don't have a pickup yet, right? So we're going to need to revisit this. But if we look at what we're doing here, right, we can basically start hooking things up. Now there is one thing that it hasn't done here, and that is a delay. So we can just pop that in there. Okay, and as you can see there, we have the remove pickups. Okay, now this one is going to go here. And if we actually check on our base layout part, if if we check the variables on our base layout part, we'll copy that. It's going to fail, but we're not too worried about that yet. Right, as I said, this isn't a particularly difficult thing to do. The problem is that it's not going to work for a little while. Okay, until we have everything kind of sorted out. Okay, so at the moment that's fine, but our problem at the moment with the layout here is the fact that we don't have a pickup. Okay, so what we're going to need to do is we're going to have to create our pickup. Now, even if it's empty at this point, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to your blueprints, then we're going to create a folder. We're going to call it pickups. We're going to come in here, then we're going to create an actor, and it's going to be BP underscore pickup. Right, now I'm opening it up on the other side here. Right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to create another actor, which we might not need in actual fact, but we'll do it anyway. Is we shall call it BP underscore stake. And this is where we basically need to create a folder. And we'll call it stake. And we'll move that into there. And then in here, what we're going to have to do is go to our imports. Let me just bring up the chat in case anybody's I mean, it's not much fun. Importing all this stuff, but it has to be done, I'm afraid. So we'll call this ma underscore stake, and then we're going to import again. Right, and then we're going to go to this material, then we're going to open this, then we're going to bring these in, then we're going to hook them up, and we don't do that. What we do is get ambient occlusion, rough. Right, we don't want roughness. Well, we do want roughness, but it goes in there. Zoom out a little bit, and that one goes to metallic. Right, that's just been a pain in the bum. Can we not do that? Right, save that. Okay, so we got to here. we go to BP stake, and why is that not updating? Oh yeah, because we need to bring this, and then in our texture we basically drag that in there. There we go. Save that, close that, and then in our BP stake we drag that in. Then we can check what this is. Yep, we don't do anything with that really. Right, has this got any weird stuff on it? It's got overlap all, and it has got some stuff. Right. So we're going to copy some more code, and we're going to click on our BP stake. Wait a minute. Our BP stake. Right, that's a load of rubbish. That's a delete. All we do is do that. Right, now, if I remember rightly, we have to go into our static mesh, open it up, and then we want our transform to be 0.1. We can re-import that, that's fine. Right, and then we go back to our BP stake, and we've got our stake. And we click on that, and collision is overlap all. Compile that, and then on overlap I have some code here, which again we're going to be kind of screwed here. Because we need interfaces now. So we'll go back to blueprints, new folder, enter I hate when it does that. Rename. Interfaces, right? Then right click, blueprints, blueprint interface, and it's going to be blueprint interface underscore pick up. Okay. And we're just going to call this one pickup. Compile that. Then we go to BP stake, and I believe that it is the parent that has, yep, Right, so we go to main, we go to BP pickup, and we go to class settings, and we select BPI pickup. Okay, and then under BPI pickup we get our stake and drag that into here. Right, and that is 130. And the offset is 10. Save that. So now what we can do is, if we go back to whatever it was we were doing, which I can't remember, it was actually the BP stake here. Right, now I did that because basically it wouldn't have found the pickup interface because it didn't exist, right? Now you'll notice here that it gives us a load of crap. Right, but you've just got to sort your way through it. Right. And this is not a hell of a lot of fun, but hey ho. And this is going to be player. And as I said, it doesn't join anything up for you, so you've just got to go through and basically join it up yourself, which is obviously really good fun. And we're going to play a sound there, but we don't know what it is. And this is going to go to there. It's going to go to there. Going to go to there. That is going to go to there. That's going to go to there. Then this bad node cast, we need to find out what that actually is. Right, now this is to our actual player controller. Right, so that's going to be cast to first person character. Right, we can change the name of that later. Okay, and this one we're going to say pick up message. That's going to go to there. Right, and that's going to go to there, which is actually offline, but we'll worry about that later. And we'll plug that into there and drag that into there, and that's kind of it. Right, now we can go about tidying all that up later, but in the meantime you'll notice that it actually done everything correct. Delete that. Right, and if we go back and go to our first person controller, I'm guessing it's in here. Right, we can open this. Now we're going to do some stuff with this. right? Like take away his gun and stuff like that. But what we'll do in the meantime is we want to add a tag, and that tag is player. Okay. So in the first instance, we're going to remove his ability to turn his head, and then we're going to remove his ability to, we'll probably be deleting this as well. We're not using a headset, so basically we're going to remove that. Okay, everything else can stay apart from this stuff, right? Because we ain't going to be firing any projectiles. Okay, so we can delete that, and that leaves us with the basics here. Okay, can save that. And now we can go about, believe it or not, we go back and start with our straight part and updating the code that we did here, right? Although having said that, we need the BP pickup. Right, and that's going to probably be in the player controller. Actually, pickup is in the actual blueprint itself. And what's this? What's going on here? Right, what we'll do is we'll delete that. Right, and now what we need to do is get our pickup and drop it into the scene. Okay, so we basically get this and drop it in. And that's going to be 200. Okay. And then when we go to the event graph and go back over to here, we drag this in and plug it in there. Okay, so the next thing we do is we plug that into there. And what I'm doing now is I'm just basically following the logic from the other blueprint. And that goes into temp mesh. Okay. And this does a -1. and that goes in there, and that goes in there, and actually that goes in there, and that goes in there. Okay, then this goes in here. As I said before, there's nothing particularly difficult about this. It's just a matter of going through and copying your code across. Okay. So basically, we drag this in here, and we drag this in here. Then we basically delete these. And this is going to be set static mesh. Now, I don't know why it didn't allow me to do that. It's because I'm an idiot, but don't worry about that. And we now need to go back to Control W instead of Control D. Right, but we basically just plug these all back in. Still got quite a bit to go on this actually. To give you an idea, I'm hoping to get this back up and running by the end of the day. I'm not 100% sure how credible that will actually be. Right, and we're going to do this number here goes into here. And this is meshes again. So we could certainly do a bit of tidying up here. That goes in there, that goes in there. Delete that, that goes, I believe, in there. Then we'll drag this down a bit, and then I believe that is going to go, okay, whatever. We'll drag that, we'll drag that. These are the targets. Right, so this is just basically setting up our walls with a random mesh that fits in with what we have selected. Right, so basically, so everything's going to match. Now, this is pretty much the only one that does this, or the only one that does it to a great degree. Okay. Now, for some reason, and I don't know why, I'm guessing this is just to give it like a 20% chance. That we say basically equals equals 1. right, we destroy a component. And that component is the wood block. Okay, so we don't have the wood block yet, which is obviously great. So the next job is to bring in the wood block. And I'm going to do that in a moment or two after I grab myself a little drink. Yes, Summit, I am migrating to UE4. Hi, Zara. As I said, I'm sorry if I missed your comments. I'm kind of on my other screen. I am referencing another project. Okay, so I haven't always got the comments up. I'm sorry for that, but it's just the way it is. I'll try to where I can, but I can't really. But in the meantime, I'm going to be back in 2 minutes, so don't go anywhere, guys. Check out the description, hit like and subscribe. There's also a Discord there. I shall be back in 2 minutes. Okay guys, we're back. Let's get on with this a bit. So, we need this block. Okay. So, this is the wooden block in the game. Okay. So, I'm actually getting it up on my other screen here to see what we need to do with this, right? And it's cool. What we do is we put it in here, and it's going to be blueprint, actor, and it's going to be wood block. Then we're going to open it up, and we're going to have a static mesh. Now the interesting thing here is we've got a few choices to make. Right, now in the original we used, let me see what we used. We used one called wood plank 10, right? So I can show you that. It was a static mesh, and hopefully I've got it here. I might not actually. Wood, you see, we don't have it. Okay, but I know that we have other ones that might actually do the business for us and actually might be slightly better, right? And I'm hoping that it's here somewhere. And it's not, which is fantastic. I believe that it's part of medieval. Let me have a check. I believe it's part of medieval dungeons, right? Which is an asset that I have. Okay. And let's have a look. It's some of these, yeah, this is it here. So it's part of medieval dungeons. So okay, whatever, we'll have to go with it. We'll have to go with the flow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this, then we're going to go to here, then we're going to go to our assets, then medieval dungeon, and should be CH. Oh, it's not there. Okay, show all. This one. Ooh, it doesn't like that at all. Okay, 4.26, add to project, go. Right. So we're going to use the planks from this. Okay. And as you can see, that's not going to open yet because it's got a bit to download. It's 2.2 gigs, so it should take about 5 minutes at the most. So we'll minimize that for now. So we're going to basically say, rename this to block In fact, let's call it plank, because that's what it is. Plank 1. Okay, and then we're going to duplicate that. I'm going to add them all, but we may as well just get this done while we're waiting on the... Right, I think we'll only do 4 for the moment, or let's do 5. Okay, we can change the heights, etc. And then once we've got medieval dungeons in, which we have, right, we go to props, and we go to the bottom here. We can have a look at these planks and see which ones are going to be the ones for us. And that looks the business, right? We obviously need a shader on it and the material, and it is a wood instance, so we can probably do something with that as well. We can probably kind of change the shade of them, right? I'm wondering if we look at the instance, do we have... Yeah, we have an albedo brightness, right? What's that? Specular max. Okay, so we can actually we can do this stuff if we want and change the dynamics of the wood if we want, right? But in the meantime, this certainly looks like the chappy for us, right? And basically what we can do is we can select all of these and then bang in that. Now the question is, that's a bit big. We can have a look at these and see what comparative size they are, and if, yeah, so that's a longer one. That's right, so these two look like the two we want. Okay, so what we can actually do here is we can remove that one. We can actually do that and basically get rid of all the static meshes. Let me get back on chat to see if anybody's saying anything and I'm missing it. Random spawn points. There's a couple of ways you can do it, right? The question is, do you really want random spawn points? Because if you want totally random spawn points, then the monsters can spawn on top of the player, right? Which isn't what you want. So you need to think about if you actually want random spawn points or not. And the answer to that is probably no. The answer is that you'll have like an area that you want them to spawn in, right? In which case you could just do a plane and then get them to spawn within the plane. It would be kind of as simple as that, right? Now the thing we want to do here is each of our planks is going to be well, you don't want them, what I'm saying is you don't really need to randomly spawn them, okay? You just want to spawn them a distance from the player, okay? It's as simple as that. And then just have them wandering from there. Right? Right, all of these, the rotation is going to be that. Now, what we can do here is so the way you can do it is just to place them in the map, just far enough away from the player's starting point. And then basically after that it'll be random where they are because they're basically wandering about randomly. Right? So that's basically the way I would look at it. Right, so we'll say 180 for plank 1. We'll say 140. These might not be far enough apart. That would be 100. That would be 60. And then that would be 20. Okay. Now, the interesting thing here is what I'm going to do with this is these are not going to be wood A. These are actually going to be wood B, which are going to be smaller, and you'll notice that they are different from the front side to the back side. Okay? So, what we're going to do is, in our thing here, we're going to say meshes, right? And this is going to be, so this is me actually going off the beaten path here to where I was before. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to randomize these between version wood B and wood C, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to do meshes, and then we're going to compile it, and then we're going to add our two meshes, right? So we're going to say wood B and wood C, right? And that's going to randomize that up. Then we know for a fact that we've already got code in here, right, that does randomization. So we're now going to do that as well. Right, so we're going to copy this. Okay, and then we're going to go into our graph. We're going to delete that. Then we're going to paste that. And we know none of this is going to join up, right? Because remember, if you're downgrading, it doesn't join up any of your pins. So you've got to basically go in there and manually change them yourself. Right, which is fine. And this is going to be static mesh. The array is going to go in there. That's going to go, I'm guessing, in there. That's going to go there. That's going to go to there. it's also going to go in here, and then we've got a random floaty thing here going on. Right, now we have this one is going to be split, and we basically do X and Z, and Y goes in here. And originally this was -5, but I think that's a little bit too much. It might be -4, 4. Okay, and that gives us our rotator. So we plug that in there. We plug that in there. And the next thing we're going to do is, oh, that's interesting. Right. So we don't need to actually do that calculation, right? What we can do is we can say 0.8 and 1.1, and the same for this one. We can say 0.8 and 1.1. So this is going to give us random sizes, right? But we're going to keep this one to 1. Okay? And so we're going to do scale and scale, right? And then this is basically going to go, there should be a pin there, which there is, and that is going to go in there. Then this is going to go in here. Compile that. And now if we go to the viewport, right, what we can do is we can simulate it. Okay, so where's the freaking simulate button? Okay, apparently we don't have a simulate button. Whatever. Right, now there's one thing we need to do here, and that is we've got each of our static meshes, right? And we're doing a for each loop through each of the static meshes, which is fine, right? But we need to do one more thing, and that is to check and we'll do it the proper way. We'll say length then we'll say -1, then we'll get a copy, and that was off the wrong pin, so we get a copy of that, and we do an int range, and it's from that to that. Then this goes in here, and this is getting us our random mesh out of the two, right? So we can basically say set mesh right, drag that in, this goes in the mesh, we can drag this back a bit, that's fine, drag these two up a bit, that's fine. And now when we create the woody thing, it's going to be randomized. It's going to be a random mesh. Now we could do even more than that, right? We could actually spin it like 180 degrees on the Z, so it's facing forward or backward, and then we could spin it 180 degrees on the Y, so that it would basically make it so that none of the two are going to be the same, right? That's the point. So it's never going to look the same. But in the meantime, we need a wood smash, right, on the player controller, which is actually a particle effect, right? So we're going to need to create that. I've imported them, so that should be okay. So we can do this. We can copy that. Right, I'm sorry, I'm talking over the fact that I'm looking at another screen. I'm sorry. It gets quite confusing. So what we're going to do is we need now a box, a collision box, right? Which I'm sure are here somewhere. I've probably passed them by. A box collision, right? And if we go to the viewport, we can click on it, and we can put it in the middle. And now what we need to do is change this. Okay, that's the wrong one to change. Let's change that back. Let's put it in 96. That'll do. Then is it that one? No. We'll change that one back in a minute. This is the one we want. That's good. And now change that to 96. Don't probably need as much as that. So we'll say 84. That should about do it. That gives us our box collision. So now our box is going to be overlap all, but we're obviously going to do a check on it, right? And on begin overlap, we are going to paste that in, and that's going to be a delete. What we'll do is we'll join the rest of this up. That's going to go to there. Other actor is going to go to there. We're going to check that it's the player. We're going to join that up. This is going to get cast to first person character. Okay, and now we need to go into the first person character and create our wood smash. Okay, so if we do that, all of this stuff, by the way, is going to make everything that's coming after this, it gets easier and easier because basically you've created everything again. So it's not so much of a chore having to create like the wood block, then create a light, then create a wall, and create the straight part, and create the rounded part, and blah blah blah. So we do that. Now we have got to add a couple of particle effects for this, but what we're doing is just getting this part working first, right? So we basically just say wood smash, right? And then we destroy self, and that goes here. Compile that. Then we can select everything and drag it back into line, and that's nearly, it's nearly in line. There we go. Save that. So that's good. We've done that. Okay. So now if we go into our player controller, I'm going to have to go off the comments again. If we go into our player controller, come on. Sorry, I'm on the other window again. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to go to our player controller here, right? Now, I think we're in the main menu here actually, so that's bad. Well, it's not bad, but we go to first person blueprints, right? And we shall rename this to Pcon. That's player controller. It's actually not, it's a pawn. So it's Pawn Chronicles. Okay. And then if we bring this, we've got our wood smash here. Now our FP gun it ain't going to be colliding with anything. Yeah. And it's going to be hidden in the game as well. And in fact, our mesh 2P is going to be hidden in the game. Right? And what we're going to do here we've got our movement controller, and we know that we don't start at whatever number it is, our walking speed, max swim speed, max walking speed, where is it? Max walk speed is going to be 400. Then we'll stick the crouch to 100 even though we're not using it. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add an audio component. right? Then we're going to add particle system. One, and then we're going to duplicate that, right? I'm just getting this ready for all the different things we're going to need. So we're going to need the two particle systems, right? And then we're going to need a scene render component 2D, which is cool. So that's has got all our different stuff, and we can now find out where our particle systems are. Okay, so basically we select our two particle systems, and these are at apparently 65 and 300. Okay, so we can do that, and there are our particle systems. We can delete some of this other stuff, like this motion controller stuff can go, right? I don't even know. Hidden in game, yeah. Hidden in game, yeah. Right? So what we'll do is we'll leave it at that for now, but we're going to get rid of that at some point. Right, but now we've got our audio, so we can get our music playing, we can get our particle systems going, and all the rest of it. Now our particle systems, right, and it's going to be wood fracture. Okay. Now these two particle systems are going to get set to 2 and 2. We can check that out later, right? And we also have some code which is part of this wood smash thing, which is this part here. Right, so we do this, and this is wood smash. Right, so basically what we're doing here is we're alternating between two different, I'm going to put the comments back on. We're going to alternate between the two particle systems, because if you run too fast, then basically the particle systems don't get a chance to reset. So basically I'm just using the two of them to switch between. Right, and in fact we can drag this one to here, and then particle system 2 can go in here, and then both of them go to play this sound. Right, and we obviously get our and I believe that we have to set this because it plays different sounds. So what we're going to have to do now is we're going to have to add a variable, and we don't want to add a macro, right? So we'll call them wood cues, okay, and they're going to be sound cues. Okay, whatever, and we're going to do that. And compile that, and I do believe that I have actually imported these. So if we say jig okay, it might not be jigsaw, it might be something else. Okay, it might not be any of them. Right. Ah, I know what it is. They aren't cues, they're wave files. Right, so we need the particle systems, right? Right, so the best thing to do here is go to your particle system and then go to here, and this is going to give us hopefully our sound. Okay, maybe it's not. I don't know where the audio was for these. It's not there. Right, so it's not in first person. It's not there. Right, I don't know where this is going to be. Right, let me have a look in this other one to see where this sound is. It's in ballistics. It's in here somewhere. Apparently we don't have. Okay, well what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go back to here. And we're going to have to re-migrate these out, I suppose, because we don't have the sound. Right? According to this, we don't have sodden anything. Alright, wait a minute. Hang on a second. Right, so there's our fractures, but we don't have the sound. We've got our materials. Right? There's the textures. And we don't have that. Okay, so what we're going to need to do is we're going to have to close this project down. We're going to have to open it up in a minute or two, but we've got a few things we can do in the meantime. Right, but what we're going to have to do is open up in our library we've got ballistics here. Right, so what we're going to have to do now is bring this one in and migrate those sound effects out of it, basically. Okay. And okay, so we should have them now. And there we go. Now, these are all sound waves. So what we're going to do is we're going to select them all and create the cues. Okay. Then we're going to go in here and we're basically going to drag them in. And we need one more. There we go. Okay, so we can save that, and while we're at it, we'll do a save all. Okay, and now we can do wood cue to here. We can do to there. We can do to there. Then we do that to there. And we do that to there. Okay. And we'll drag this up out the way a bit. And I'm going to close that other project down. Hi Angry Rebel, how you doing? Hi Apple's Play. How is development? I don't know what you mean by that. Angry, you need to change the size of your Capsule Collider. So if you're still there, I can show you where you'll find it. Maybe. Pick up. Yeah, I'm on the pawn. Right, so if you look at here, you will see he's got a Capsule Collider. So what you can do is click on your capsule and you can change the size of it, right? This is your capsule radius, your capsule half height. So you can adjust these to make it smaller or bigger, so you can see. right? If I make that 40, it's going to get smaller, but you have to be careful because these two are related. So if I make that 25, you'll notice that it's now the right size, and if I undo that and I get them back, and I can't remember what size that was, it was about 55. So you can change them and then they'll fit through doors, etc. Apple's Play, if you're still there, what do you mean by how's development? It's going okay as far as downgrading from 5 to 4.7, but it's not much fun. I'm not really doing any development. All I'm doing is basically getting it ready to go again. Okay. So Angry, what you would do is change the capsule size, and then you can also change your static mesh size to bring the size of the actual mesh down in size. Okay, so your capsule should basically match the size of your character. Okay, so obviously if the mesh is huge in comparison to your capsule, it won't actually make any difference to you banging into things, right? Because your mesh, it's your capsule collider that's going to collide with the walls, right? But it's obviously going to look completely weird, right? So you'll notice here that the capsule surrounds these things, right? But obviously, if your character or your mesh is bigger, you'll want the capsule to match the size of your character. Otherwise, it will start not making sense what you're actually doing. But hopefully that helps you. So, where was I? Can't remember. Okay, we were here. Right, so we did our wood smashy thing, and then we set up our player character with the wood smashy thing. So, in theory, to go back all the way to the start of where we started this, and this is what I'm afraid it kind of becomes. Right, when you're doing this, things get a bit weird. What we're actually going to have to do now is we've created our pickup, right? And now we need our smashy thing, right? So what we actually need to do now is drag in our wood smash, or our wood block, as we have called it. Okay, so we're going to close these down. Then we open our blueprints, and if we go to the pickups, we can go to here, and you'll notice that we can either put it at the start or at the end. I'm going to suggest we put them at the end. Okay, like here, so it's in between a wall. Okay, and then we're going to drag it up a bit, and there we go, and it's actually a perfect size. Okay, so we'll save that, and we're going to go for a cigarette. So if you're enjoying the stream, hit like and subscribe. Check the description for my Nah, mate. Working in teams with Unreal Engine with well, number one, I don't know anything about you and how experienced you are. I don't know about what game you're working on. I don't know anything about you. So, yeah, there's that. But thanks for the offer. I shall be right back. Don't go anywhere, guys. Okay, guys, we're back. And let's get on with this. So, we've got our block. And we've got our pickup. Okay, so all of that is there. And we've got a randomized code for the... No, we haven't. No, we haven't. You foolish man. We need to open up our version 5 and copy some more code. And then join up all the nodes, which is really great fun, all in all. Right, but now, you see, I think that's too high. I think we should just go with the 4. Okay. But that's just me. right? And because it's my game and my ball, I'm going to play with my ball, and I'm going to take that away. So there you go. So if I now go back to layout straight, yeah, that's better. Right, that kind of makes sense. Now these are going to randomly move a bit, right? I've set them up to move a bit so that they're not all at the same angle of straight, right? Which is going to look crap. Okay. Now, as I said, I could spin them 180 on X and Y to give us even more randomness. But that's probably for another day. I'm too busy at the moment getting everything back to the way it was. I was hoping that I was going to show you me actually getting the dungeon back, but I've underestimated how much I can do in 2 hours. Okay, so we're an hour and 35 in. I've been doing this part of the morning as well, bringing in a lot of the assets. So we have been working on it steadily, and we're getting there. We've brought in from nothing the stake, the wood break. We've brought in the pictures, the lights. We've got the code for that. We've got the individual floor, the individual ceiling. And basically, probably while we're off stream, I shall then create the corner section, the straight section with door, and what else is there? The end section, and there's the T-junction section. And there's also ones that I created to expand on this, which give us like a full room rather than a narrow corridor, right? So I'll be able to bring in these. So now that my project has opened, I can now have a look at our straight part, right? We don't actually need that many more. We've got a straight width door and an end part and a left part, which is actually a turn. Okay, now it seems to me that the door has disappeared. Okay, now what we want to do is go back into this code and see what we're missing from the code here. So again, I am looking at different parts here, and what I'm going to need to do at this point is right, okay, that's fine. Right, super fine. So after the set static meshes, right, we need choose lights. So, and what that is a custom event. Okay, so we do that and we call it choose lights, right? And that's not actually what it should be called. It should be called choose decoration, right? Because it doesn't just choose lights, it decides what lights are needed and what things like pictures and stuff as well. So it's actually the decoration of the corridor that it's actually doing, right? So we say choose decoration, right? And we plug that in there, and we are beginning to get there on our first part of the system here, and there is a possibility, there's a 20% chance that a block exists. Okay, so basically we do a random number between 1 and 5. If it comes up 1, we don't destroy it. If it comes up 2, 3, 4 or 5, then we destroy it. That's the point of that. Okay, so our next part of the code is basically to choose these lights. Okay, and we're going to do one line at a time, right? So I'm copying stuff again, and we don't know what's going to be missing or not, so we're going to go from here, and this has got 4 pins, right? So we're going to copy basically a pin at a time. That's the thought process here. So we're going to do that, and it looks like we've got our stuff here because we've created our variables in advance, right? We don't know what we're deleting there, but we'll work it out in a minute, and we shall basically just do this. This is basically destroying lights and pictures. Okay, so I'm over now to our other project, and this number here is, it's going to pick a number between 1 and 100, so we're getting a percentage basically, and we're going to say if it's less than or equal to, and that's going to be 30. So there's a 30% chance it's going to draw this particular lighting setup, lighting and picture setup. Okay, then we say light chosen, and our light chosen index is 0. Then we destroy the picture on the left, okay, and we set the lighting on the left to hidden, actually everything is hidden to start with, right? So we actually set that to not hidden, and then again we do a percentage chance that the other light will be on as well. So we say less than or equal to, and we'll say, actually that was a 50% chance, right? What we'll do is we'll give it a 40, right? Because what I did notice in the game was there was a lot of times that it was basically the lights were all on, right? So we get the picture right, and we get the lighting right. Okay, and we basically do that. And that is our first random set of decoration. Now what I'm going to do is, yeah, that's cool, So basically what we need to do now is we can copy this, right, but we get this and we branch it, right, and then we paste this in, which is basically the same code, right, except we're going to swap over the lefts for the rights. So instead of the light being on the right, it's going to be on the left. Okay. So let me just check that that is in fact the case. Yes, it's absolutely the case. Right. So we say picture right in here, and we say lighting right in here. Then we delete that, we delete that, we put that there, then that in there, right, and then we put picture left and lighting on left. We delete that, we delete that, we plug these in, and there we go. Okay, and now we're going to check our third one, which doesn't do anything like what we're doing on the other one, so we're going to have to basically copy this one, right, so we're going to copy that and we're going to paste it in there, then we're going to duplicate that and that's going to go on the front, and just to make it easier I'm going to do that, and then we'll drag this along a bit, and then we do false. Then I'm going to zoom in, have a look at this, and this is going to be between 1 and 100 again. I just made it between 1 and 100 to make it easy to sort of read. There wasn't any particular reason I needed to do that. I could have made it any number, but just made sure that it was like the same percentage. But this is just the way I did it, so we'll just carry on and do it the same way. And yeah, there's a problem here. This becomes index 1. And then I'm pretty sure this becomes index 2. Yep, light chosen is on, index is 2. Alright, we'll do hidden, then we do destroy component, and then we'll find out what we need, and it's light and left, then basically both pictures. Okay. And we can delete these out. And that. Okay. And for our final one, a little bit different again. We can, well, basically, let's say we're going to copy all of this for now. Copy that. Right. So we paste that in, and there is an interesting one here because that's basically a delete, and that goes to there, and that goes to there. And what we'll do is we shall drag this up to make it easier to plug into here. Right. So we'll drag this down. And it's probably chosen. Not that it matters at this point. And we can see index light 3. I don't actually know when I use that, but anyway, let's not worry about that. Right, this one is a bit more intricate in the way this works. Right, so this is light and left, goes in here. And again, we've got our 1 to 100 thing going on here. And this is like a 50-50. So again, I could have used it between 1 and 2 and just did that. Right, but it doesn't really matter at this point. It just keeps things sort of standardized. If we're going to do a percentage, we may as well do a percentage. Right, this is going to there, and this is taking a detour even if we don't delete this particular component, and that component is the left picture. Okay. Then that's going to go to there, that's going to go to there. Then I'm going to guess that we need another 50-50 on this. Right, hang on a second guys. We're on 1 and 100. And it's less than or equal to 50. As I said, we'll keep it standard. If we're doing a percentage chance, we'll roll between 1 and 100. That keeps it correct. We can now delete that and delete that. We can join these up. Right, and then we can check the code here, and it's picture right, lighting right. So it's lighting right and picture right. Okay. So we can save that, and that's us. We've got our random generation of our straight corridor back. Now, most of the other ones don't have any random generation, or at least they certainly don't have as much, right? So we've broken the back of that one, and we're just about, not saying we are, we're just about, we've still got minimap, right? We've still got minimap. We've still got the door stuff, right? But that's going to be part of the door, so that's okay. And we should be nearly good to go once we start building a level. Now, I'm going to leave it at that for the stream. So if you've enjoyed the stream, hit the like and subscribe, do all that stuff. And check out the description. You can join Discord. You're welcome to come and speak to me there as well. And you can check out how to support the channel from $1 on Patreon, or my previous game, which you can even add to your wish list for nothing, and that helps as well. So thank you for joining, hope you've enjoyed it, and I shall see you at 8 PM Central tonight. Bye bye for now, guys.